Would the other GC contenders put Demi Vollering under pressure after her hard crash yesterday? We're heading towards the mountains in the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift Stage 6 from Remiremont to Morteau. We have mostly rolling hills, including one at the start of Category 3 climb, and then the stage gets progressively more difficult to the end. Although it's not a mountaintop finish, it's more medium mountain or hills all strung together. Marianne Vos got in the breakaway. Justine Herkira was also in there going for the QOM points, and Vos is an intermediate sprint right after this climb. That's why she's following her in the peloton. It was up to Canyon Schramm to control things, as Nouviedome is now in the yellow jersey, although other teams had designs on the stage. Grace Brown was in the breakaway. Fisher Black, the teammate of Vollering, one of the best placed on GC and the best climber in the break, and Charlotte Cole. That green jersey was under threat, with Fem Van Empel riding for Marianne Vos and 25 points on offer at this intermediate sprint. Vos was able to draw equal with Charlotte Cole, so only needing 1 point at the finish to go clear, and Cole's probably not going to take another point because the rest of the race is so difficult. Herkira on that 5k 5% climb takes the QOM points uncontested, and the peloton they got Lippert in there, so Movistar, it's a good finish for her, 600 meters 4% uphill. Mavi Garcia attacks from the peloton at the base of sort of the longer climbing section, and Brown's in this group for FDJ Suez, and she's looking in much better shape than she did at the start of the race. Vos is just hanging on, and Movistar and Fisher Black are pacing, and then FDJ in the peloton just start absolutely shredding it. I still don't know why, because it wasn't like always the steeper section, as if they were trying to test Vollering for 1 or 2 minutes or the other GC contenders. They paced all out for a long time on this climb, and Muzic has no sprint. Like, she is not going to win the stage from the little uphill finish they have, and it's not that hard a stage. And so, yeah, Brown eventually gets put on a very small gap by Fisher Black, but they'd already taken the gap down to 30 seconds. Then they stopped pacing because Ludwig is getting dropped. And so maybe they were pacing so Ludwig could go over the stage, but they have Brown in the breakaway, who's won Liège-Bastogne-Liège in a small group sprint and has a way better sprint than the two diminutive climbers that she's with. And she makes it over the hardest climb of the day with them, and in fact drops Justine Herkira, who went all out for the QM points, starts the sign of the cross, and then says, I give up. And Brown's back with Fisher Black, but the gap it goes back to 120. Everyone takes a breather, but it might have gone out to even, it could have been 150, 2 minutes, who knows who would have paced. And now Movistar begin to reel Brown in once again, aided by Canyon, but I don't think Canyon were really going for the stage too much either. They were just controlling proceedings. 18 seconds for the last maybe 1.5k climb. Brown's going really, really well. Lebu attacks, and she has Jaco Lula on her wheel. She's got Kerbuel in third wheel. Nouviedome reacts in the yellow jersey, and Vollering was caught asleep, I think. She more gradually closes this move of Lebu down, whereas Nouviedome was immediately back on the wheel. So Vollering, she's done this a few times in the last few years. This is sort of the normal way she closes things down, riding her tempo. I don't think she's as explosive as she was in 2022, actually. I think she's better on the longer climbs, but she seemed to be okay. Brown and Fisher Black caught with about 2.5 minutes left on this climb, a bit less by Royackers. Lebu goes back to the front again, 600 meters left. Brown still pretty much in this group. Vos is just getting gapped. She's the quickest woman if she can survive for that uphill sprint. Peterson attacks, and it was just, I think, to see what she could get going, whether Nouviedome would pull with her. But in the end, the group was so big, Brown's just off the back a bit. Muzic is there, and look at Kerbuel on Sarah Tizet. She's about to use her momentum, coming from the back, sprints, and this was absolutely perfect timing. Royackers had just attacked herself and is initially able to go with her, but none of the big GC riders have any domestiques, at least not immediately with them to close. There's no mountaintop finish or thing to really worry about from a GC perspective. Afterwards, Kerbuel's in fourth. She's not that close on GC, but she is close enough that she might be a threat, but you don't want to do it yourself. And so Lebu, who didn't have teammates, she tries to attack on the descent to get across, but the gap immediately goes to like 15 seconds. And she's the ex-French national time trial champion. She drops Royackers either on the descent or on a little kicker, and now she's riding a TT against Leah Courignet, who was dropped before and is nowhere near as powerful on the flat as Kerbal. And so Voss is there hoping it comes back so she can win the sprint. But this is one of the best ascents I've seen in the Women's World Tour this year or the last couple of years. Kerbal, she uses all of the road, taking all the risks on this descent, and she extends her gap. It actually went to 40 seconds. She went into the virtual maillot jaune. Particularly if you include the bonus seconds she would have taken at the finish, and she was not coming back. Bradbury's put on the front by Canyon SRAM to at least control proceedings and to ensure that she doesn't, Niewiadoma doesn't lose the yellow jersey. Brown, who in another situation, if her team didn't chase, might have been contesting the win up front, is left to chase. But the Ceratizit rider becomes the first French woman to win a Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift stage. Huge win for her, huge win for her team. I think their first World Tour win this year. And Voss comes second on the stage. Not the stage win she would have hoped for, but it does seal the points jersey if she can finish the race. Kerbal winning ahead of Voss, then Lippert, Swinkels, Brand, Niewiadoma, Pieterse, De Jong, Muzic, and Lebu rounding out the top 10. In terms of GC, Kerbal actually moves into second onto the podium by 3 seconds out of Faulkner and 6 seconds out of Pieterse. Niewiadoma maintains the same gap to Vollering of 1:19. Lippert does move up on Bonies, but it's still all to play for, especially now after today's seeing Vollering able to respond, not too badly hurt after the crash. Sunday's going to be good. Ciao.